Steve McQueen's Highland Green 1968 Ford Mustang GT Fastback is one of the most iconic movie cars of all time. But what happened to it after the cameras stopped rolling? It's a story that involved classified ads, Steve McQueen himself trying to buy the car back, and a massive sale at auction. This is what happened to the Mustang from Bullitt. There were two Mustangs that were used for filming what many consider to be the original car chase, when Bullitt's Mustang comes up against a Dodge Charger. One was used for closer and casual shots featuring McQueen, and the other was used for stunt driving. The stunt car was thought to be crushed as it was beyond repair, but this has since turned up in a scrap heap in Mexico in 2017. But it's the hero car that we're looking at, the one Steve McQueen considered to be his own, apart from the fact it didn't actually belong to him, despite the Hollywood legend's best efforts. It appeared as though the dark green Mustang was determined to complete a great escape from its previous driver. After filming of Bullitt wrapped up in 1968, Warner Brothers employee Robert Ross bought and kept the car until 1970 before selling it for only $6,000. Even with inflation, that's still only around $45,000, a steal for a movie legend. Maybe Ross wanted to preserve the authenticity of the car's police origins because he sold it to a real detective, and that was Frank Marenka from New Jersey. 4 years later, Frank must have got bored pretending to be Steve McQueen because he put the car up for sale again, this time with a shockingly understated classified ad in Road and Track magazine's October 1974 edition. Amazingly, only one person responded to it, and that man was Robert Kiernan, who must have had the best poker face on the planet to offer $6,000 for the legendary car. That was the same price the detective had paid for it a few years earlier, so Marenka would effectively lose money on the Mustang. Kiernan, or more precisely his family, were definitely not going to suffer the same fate. They were sitting on a gold mine. Robert Kiernan and his wife Robbie Kiernan, yes, we're not joking, would take their new Bullitt Mustang for weekend trips to Maine and upstate New York, just like it was any other car. It was also the car that Robbie would use for her daily commute to St. Vincent's Parish, where she worked as a schoolteacher. That was quite the contrast to high-octane chases around San Francisco. The car was left exactly as it had been after filming, not in a great state, so it didn't attract too much attention. Most local people considered it a piece of junk, but one person knew it was far from that: Steve McQueen. He called the Kiernans a few years after they purchased it, asking for his car back. The family told the movie legend no. A week later, they received a letter from the star. It appealed for the car back in its original condition for personal reasons, and the Hollywood icon even offered to replace the Mustang for something similar, just as long as there wasn't too much money involved. Despite the not-so-generous offer, the Kiernans refused again. It turned out to be the right decision, as we'll find out later. After avoiding McQueen's attempts to repurchase the car, the Kiernans moved to a horse farm in Kentucky, parking the Mustang in a barn. It stopped running in 1980 and was hidden from the world for decades. Then in 2001, Robert and his son Sean decided to work on restoring the car, nothing special, just to get it back on the road to replace the family's MGB GT. When Robert passed away in 2014, Sean took full ownership of the Mustang, and when Ford launched a commemorative 50th anniversary revamp of the Bullitt vehicle, he decided this was the perfect time to show off his automotive treasure. This was at the 2018 Detroit Motor Show, and the car generated a lot of interest, as most people thought that Steve McQueen's Mustang had gone missing, presumed wrecked. Sean decided to put the car up for sale, partly because he wanted to see it become the most expensive Mustang on Earth, and also because he wanted closure on his father's death, as Robert was the last Kiernan to drive it. Sean got his wish. In 2020, when it sold at auction in Florida, it became the most valuable Mustang on the planet and one of the most expensive movie cars ever seen, when it sold for $3.4 million. Not bad for a car that cost $6,000.